Hi, I'm Bruce Belfiore, CEO of BenchmarkPortal and host of CallTalk, welcoming you to this CallTalk Caramel video, a sweet little taste of the really juicy half-hour podcast I did with Tatton, this time in a short video format. For those who don't know him, Tatton is a 24-year veteran of the contact center industry, having owned and operated multiple contact centers. In 2012, he co-founded Call Criteria, a quality assurance as a service company, where he currently serves as COO. He is focused on blending advanced technologies, including AI, along with people and processes to attain optimal quality. Welcome to the show, Chad.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Okay, very good. So for this Call Talk video, we're going to focus on accuracy and AI for the area that Chad was talking about yesterday. And for those who can, I really encourage you to listen to the full audio podcast from yesterday. Really, really well done. So for this, as I said, we're going to be focusing on accuracy and AI for QA in the contact center. Chad, talk to us about that and how organizations are looking for the most accurate outputs for their automation and AI. What are some of the things that our audience should think about in order to achieve higher accuracy?
Sure. I think that I can speak to accuracy. That's certainly part of it, but I'll kind of touch on all of the different components that kind of come into building an AI or a technology solution for a call center. So starting at the top, and probably one of the most important things is you need to make sure that you have an accurate transcription of your phone calls. At the end of the day, any sort of AI that you would use to answer any questions or do any kind of analysis is totally connected to the accuracy of that transcription. So if the transcription of the call isn't correct, you're kind of in a bad spot right to begin with. So it's important to get that right. When you're choosing a call recording platform, it's important to have really, really good call recordings. Or if you're doing some sort of live AI QA, you need to have good quality recordings. And so you make sure that you got the right partner on that. The other thing is you need to pick the right transcription partner. There's a lot of transcription folks out there. Some of them are better than others. They all do different things well. Some of them are faster than others. Some of them are slower than others. So you need to make sure you pick the right one so that they can meet the needs that you have with the right capacity. And then lastly, I would say on transcription is it's certainly best if you have dual channel audio. Because if you just have a single channel audio, sometimes the technology that's out there doesn't do a good enough job of determining who's talking, and you end up grading your customer, which isn't really what you're going for, right? You want to focus on your agent. So that's really the first thing is transcription. The second thing is you need to pick the right partner. You need to pick someone that lives in call assessment, and that's what they do. Someone that knows what you don't, because it's a complicated world, right? It changes every day, and what worked yesterday might not work tomorrow, or it might be better tomorrow. So it's important to work with someone that knows this stuff and someone that can provide the various types of scoring. Because at the end of the day, it's all about getting information about the call. There's several different methods of doing it. You don't want to work with someone that can really only give you access to one of them, because there's a bunch of different ways that you can go about it. You certainly don't want to just connect with a software provider that will hand you the keys to the car and tell you to figure out how to go, drive around the track, but not show you where the gas or the brake is or anything else. And so it's important to have a partner that can kind of assist you through that process. The other thing that is really important is choosing the right scoring method. Like I said, there's a lot of different scoring that you can do. A lot of it depends on, whether you're doing voice analytics or you're doing true generative AI, the need for accuracy, the speed, the budget, all of those things are super critical for you to get right, because you might find that you can get away with just voice analytics, which isn't AI. That's just transcribing the call and finding out what's in the text. Or you might need to use generative AI or a large language model to do more progressive things and more complicated things. You might need to fine tune one of those models to get it a lot more accurate. You might even find that it's too accurate, or your content and the subject matter of your calls is way too complicated to even get away with doing it. You need to just score the calls with humans. And most of the time, it's a combination of both. It's really common to use voice analytics to filter down to calls, to use AI of some other sort, so that you're optimizing the capabilities of both. So it's important to use the right method. The next thing I would say is probably to use, if you're going to use an LLM, generative AI, which is all the new thing, and it's very cool, it's advancing quick, you got to pick the right one. there's a lot of them out there. We've all heard of the Chat GPTs and Anthropic and Gemini from Google. They all have their strengths and their weaknesses and their speeds and their costs. And so it's really important to make sure that you're marrying those things together, because if you pick the wrong model, you really could spin your wheels and spend a lot of money and never really get to the answers that you want. And so I would say last would be, know what you're going to do with the data. So many folks get into it and they just want to do call assessment, but they haven't really decided, okay, after I get assessment of these calls, what am I going to do with it? Mm-hmm. Because if you don't know what you're going to do with it, it's hard for you to really nail down how accurate does it need to be. If it doesn't need to be all that accurate, you can do things pretty inexpensively and quite easily. But if it's really critical that it's super accurate, you've got to understand that up front, because you can't achieve that kind of accuracy unless you optimize to that accuracy over time. It doesn't just come out of the box working. Unfortunately, it just doesn't. And so if you have a clear understanding of what your accuracy needs to be, and you can marry that with, okay, we're going to need to listen to 5,000 calls over a 3-month period so that we can really know what's working and what's not, so we can train the model or optimize the prompting or whatever needs to happen. You know that up front, so you don't find yourself having something that doesn't work and then realize you don't have expertise on your staff, or you don't have the staff in general to listen to calls on your own. So it's important to make sure you nail that down up front, because it can really kill you in the end. If you pay attention to just those things, it seems like just those things, it's a lot of things, but if you pay attention to those things and you don't overlook them entirely, the capabilities of AI and this new stuff are really, really powerful. You just need to be really diligent in examining these different variables and finding the help that you need to pick the right solutions and the right processes, so you don't end up spinning your wheels for a long time, not getting anywhere.
No, that was great. And you basically didn't just go down a list. You basically explained a process, and a process has reason, and a process that really has to go back to what is your strategy as a contact center, what is your customer contact objectives, and making sure that all of this is going to fit together, because it's not one size fits all. Certainly that comes loud and clear from what you're talking about. And in a world in which people say, I want things customized, this is a situation where it has to be customized, and it has to be done really well with a lot of thought. Well, right. These are really good elements that you've given us. We appreciate you coming with us today. And any last thoughts before we say goodbye to our audience?
No, I think at a high level, do the right planning. A little bit of planning and some strategy up front is well worth it. You still want to be the first one in, because it's the new cool thing. Figure out what you got to do and do it right, so you can have the best results.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks very much, Chad. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. I appreciate it.
Okay. This is Bruce Belfiore signing off. Thank you.